give you guys a little perspective on what I'm got going on here. Uh, So when clay becomes bone dry or hard or old or whatever you want to call it, uh, if it hasn't been fired yet, it's always able to be recycled, uh, re-wedged, and reused. So in a ceramic studio that has production, any clay that is not fired, a pot that is not successful, a crack, uh, a any kind of failing that you have, the clay is always just thrown into a slop bucket and at a later time reworked. Uh, the thing is that when you rework the clay, the problems arise that you have tools in the clay, you have uneven drawing, you have foreign objects, you have different things that mix into the clay. So it is in your best interest to go through it little by little and make sure that there's nothing in there that is going to later be a problem, and that'll show up when you're throwing, when you're molding, or worst case scenario, it shows up during a firing when your piece is going through the firing. And if there's any air trapped in your piece, you will have a exploded piece, literally exploded. Like air molecules like to go nuts when they heat up, and if they have no place to travel, then they create pressure until the pressure could be released. So if that isn't a kiln, what you're going to have is a bunch of unhappy people that put their work in with yours that comes out in pieces. And worse, even still, is when it goes through a second firing after the disc firing, and it becomes a liability for all the glazed pieces. And that is one of the reasons why you never want to fire glazed pieces and bisque pieces in the same firings, aside from the fact that they're different heat signatures. Uh, it becomes a problem. So ceramics in the studio setting is a lot of process, a lot of rules, a lot of uh, operations that just have to be done no matter what. And if they're not followed, then you just don't have successful pots. And that's why most people lose interest in the ceramic studio, honestly, is the lack of success of getting pieces out. So let's just say that ceramics is definitely a craft that could become art in many ways. It is, but a craft that is constrained by many rules that are technical demands that, unless followed, you're just not gonna have successful pieces come out of the second firing, and leads to disappointment and waste and damage of kilns that are expensive, other people's work. So these are all little things that, in my dealing with ceramics, I've been able to deal with every single phase and every single part of making ceramics, from pugging and wedging and sifting and loading kilns and unloading them and making glazes. And they're all small little technical achievements that add up. And when you have those technical achievements, then you can have more successful experiences and throwing and creating art and hand building. But I'm excited. I don't know if you guys have been watching what's going on with the studio but we're coming into the new year and we're going to be launching a ceramics program at the Lighthouse Holyoke. And we will eventually be inviting the public to join us in our ceramic studio. But I hope to create an environment that has a body of artists that are both technically proficient and creatively expressive. And I think that alone, I will count it as a success. But here I have a bunch of clay that was left over that was completely bone dry. But now I'm able to kind of reconstitute and get it to a point where I'm able to wedge it. Here it's absolutely bone dry. You can see that it's crumbling. And what you do is just little by little, you separate what has the same kind of consistency. You want a homogeneous clay wedge, especially if you're working on the wheel. The what happens is if you have different consistencies of clay within a body, uh, drying will happen at different rates, and there's a 9 to 15% shrinkage rate on clay, even in its wet form. That if there are not equal thicknesses and or the same dryness consistently throughout the whole body, it will dry at different rates and literally pull itself apart. Uh, so these are all just little things that have to be paid attention to have a successful project come together. That most people who think they want to do clay, want to dabble in clay, will eventually get bored of and frustrated because ceramics is definitely a process driven art form that requires attention to the technical details. Otherwise, you're not really a potter or you're not really a ceramicist, and it's just something that you don't have to be, but it's kind of like a little pride of ownership. If you know that you know what you know, it's something no one can take away. And for me, ceramics has been one of those things that when I came to appreciate ceramics and art and education learning, it largely came through a ceramics discipline where I finally understood that knowing process, following rules because rules lead to success in production, it made sense to me. And you can't rebel against physics. I've yet to see very few people do that successfully. So, so now like this stuff over here is completely bone dry. And what I'm gonna do is little by little get it to the point where I'm able to use it again. This bag right here that I set aside is ready to be wedged at some point, but I'll just kind of like take some time and do all the little things around the studio to get ready for a production day. And this, I consider it all part of production. There's no part that you could skip unless you have the luxury of having unlimited amount of clay and unlimited amount of I don't know. I don't think I've ever been part of a ceramics program that does not go through their recycled products and looks at process and goes at it from a technical standpoint because it just doesn't it's not conducive to a successful art form that you're what ceramics is just is that it is a bunch of rules that allows you to create something that is solidified, and once it is what it is, it lasts for thousands of years and millennia, and that's part of the beauty of ceramics for me. uh but it all starts with mud and clay and nothing, so to speak, which is everything, which is like the fabric of our universe is clay and silica, and of what we know is built our civilization, built our cultures. So clay is always been has held a special place in my heart, and definitely grateful that I've had many great teachers and professors and friends and peers that have shared ideas and process and have communicated, you know, technique, and it's all been to continue my relationship with doing ceramics and art. So I wanted to say thanks to everybody like that existed in my life like that. A very cool thing. And this is going to be the third ceramics program that I kind of helped spark and organize as far as the space. And but this is definitely will be uh, putting together all the studio rules and the process, and that's going to be interesting. I've never fully been in charge of doing something like this, but I'm excited. I've always been part of big ceramic programs that have been extremely successful. Uh, let's see, Santa Barbara City College, Santa Barbara Adult Center, Adult Education, which is like my heart is with them always because they have taught me most of what I know about this. Um, Carl Borgeson in Wisconsin, uh, Santa Barbara City College. I think I said Charlie and Alvaro Asuman. These are all people that have shared and contributed knowledge to me that has really allowed me to continue my passion in ceramics and my love of working with clay and process and working with the community and creating art programs. So yeah, I just wanted to say hi to everybody and take the time to be thankful for all those things that sometimes seem there for granted, but they are not. They're not. And I can't wait to show you guys and possibly contribute with some of you guys and have you guys come check this out, whoever's local. 'Cause the Lighthouse Holy is a great program and they have a great facility. And they are very much interested in, uh, I believe, in just creating space for the community to put education and job placement and opportunity in the way of kids so that they have choices to choose from that engage them in their education. So with that, you get to see my big mess. Hello, hello, hello. And that's all the slot bucket. And here's the studio. And I can't wait to show you guys as we move along the progress. And I'll just take this opportunity to say happy holidays to everybody, and because truly this is a global audience. Uh, I wish everybody in their corner of the world some blessings and to be well. Thank you guys. Talk soon.